Today I have Carl Ryan. He's a project geologist with Etruscus Resources. Etruscus recently put out a news release regarding its rock and roll property in the Golden Triangle in BC, and they've identified a couple of targets at the Heather and the Kashmir targets. So I have Carl today to help go through some of that.
Hey Andrew, how's it going?
Yeah, doing great. Guys putting out news release, lots of exciting targets. You continue to grow from what you had last time. So really excited to hear about what you have to share today.
Absolutely, yeah. I don't know, for those that are following the story, we talked a couple weeks ago about a previous news release, and this is kind of the follow-up recording on the rest of the sampling that we got done in 2022. And so without further ado, I'll just jump right in here. For those of you that don't know the story as well, Etruscus Resources, we're a junior mining company out of Vancouver. And we've got two properties, one in central Newfoundland called the Lewis property, just 10 kilometers west of Newfound Gold. And then we've got a large land package in the Golden Triangle, the rock and roll and the sugar properties up that way that we've been focusing on for the last few years. And this is what the news is pertaining to. And then just a bit of high level, we're still a pretty new company, fully diluted. We only have 50 million shares outstanding, and a $6 million market cap right now. So definitely got room to grow and a good technical team behind us.
Yep, really early stages. Yep.
Yeah, we're doing grassroots stuff. We've spent the last 2 years focusing on surface exploration, both in Newfoundland and in BC, and now we've kind of advanced stuff to this more drill ready stage, and that's really what we're building on here. Just quickly about the team, I'm not sure I got to mention this last time. Stephen Weatherup, VP of Exploration. He's been consulting with Freeport for 10 plus years, a lot of experience in BC and across North America looking at porphyries. Lindsay Bottomer, who's been in the industry for 45 years, Jules Lajoie, our geophysicist with Caminco previously, and Dave Dupree, 45 years of experience in the Golden Triangle as well. So we've got a pretty good backing of intelligent heads behind us. So a good team to help support me and drive this company forward. So just a bit about the news that came out, zooming in. The property that we were working was the rock and roll, just central there, a little bit off to the west. In the Golden Triangle, we're close to the Snip Mine, past producing Snip Mine, and about 30 kilometers south of Galore Creek, the major deposit owned by Teck and Newmont. So zooming in on the property itself, this is where we spent, I should probably talk a little bit about when we first got this property. We were focusing down here on the Black Dog. This was a VMS deposit. It's got an inferred resource of just under 200,000 ounces of gold. And then we expanded our land package up to the northwest here, and this is where we've really focused for the last 2 years, doing some geophysics, some prospecting, some rock sampling. And so the news that we just put out is pertaining to the Heather target and the Kashmir, which is a new showing off to the west that we're quite excited about.
Yep, and if viewers want to hear about Discovery and Zappa, they can listen to the previous interview that we recorded a couple of weeks back.
Yeah, definitely go check that out. I go into much more detail, but that was our news release there, was focused on some geophysical work that's really evolving to show quite a nice chargeability anomaly sitting underneath a big alteration footprint that's in the right place in the right geology. So everything's lining up there, and that's a great story as well. But right now we're going to talk about the Heather and the Kashmir. So starting with the Heather up here. This is an area that we've worked for a couple of years now. When we first got on property, we went, and I think I mentioned maybe in the last one, but one of our geologists got out of the helicopter, and the first rock they put in their bag was 25 grams per ton gold. So we got pretty excited. We did a big soil grid over top of this area. We ended up with this 300-meter copper gold moly soil anomaly. And then this past summer, we went back and did some more prospecting mapping and ran 3 lines of IP over top of it. So from that, we've started to build a pretty good understanding of what's going on here. You're starting to see these two trends, these northeast striking trends that appear to be holding a lot of the gold mineralization. So while we were up there this summer, we also picked up some more rocks, and there's a lot of really nice looking rocks in this area. We've got 36 grams per ton gold that we took kind of in a bit of a new area too, just farther down here to the southwest. So that was something we didn't know about previously. And then also this area up to the north a bit farther along the trend, which we took 3 rock samples from this quartz carbonate vein that we identified. And I'd been there before, and previously there had been snow kind of in this depression, so I'd never actually seen it. And it wasn't until this year when we were, we were out there a little later in the year, so there's no snow in that area. And of the 3 samples that we grabbed that came back just under 3 grams gold, 2,000 grams per ton silver, 0.45 copper, 4% lead, and 7% zinc. So these are some pretty impressive polymetallic veins. I've got a piece of it. Doing this, sorry. It's
it's a big one too.
Yeah, I can't help but bring rocks back from the field. But that's definitely great to see on the assay sheet, and just kind of the size. Just looking at this showing in person, you can tell that it's not just an isolated vein. It's got nice alteration on either side of it.
Yeah, and these are some huge grades. I mean, 2,000 grams average over 3, right? I see you have one on there that's 3,590 grams per ton silver.
Yeah,
so these are big eye popper numbers here.
Totally spectacular assay sheets. It's fun when you get those via email and you open it up and you're going, whoa, look at this thing. What rock is this? And
yeah,
your smile just starts to grow. So definitely great to see that. And that's the surface geochemistry. We're building it out, and we know that it's got this potential for quite high grades. And then the IP lines that we ran over top, that just further solidified what we've been seeing at surface. And we've got these 2 chargeability anomalies showing up that are sitting, kind of what we're seeing is the highest parts of the chargeability seem to be just sitting off the good geochemistry. So we think we have kind of the structural corridor that's going a bit northeast, and some of the good gold geochemistry, at least at surface, seems to be sitting around the edge of these chargeability highs, but quite good chargeability numbers above 25 millivolts per volt. Means that we've got significant sulfide sitting underneath here, and really just kind of proves up the robustness of the system, and the potential in size, as well as these things go at least 100 or 200 meters to depth. And I think we'll take the opportunity to flip in 3D here. Just this next image gives you a bit of an oblique view of these chargeability anomalies. So these 2 upper anomalies, as they're labeled in that diagram, that's what we were definitely most excited about to start. We've got correlation with the gold geochemistry at surface, and that's going to help us better target, hopefully with a drill, although we'd like to probably extend the IP lines. We did only get to do 3 lines here. We would have liked to have done more, but it's not always what happens with money and weather and all that out here in the Golden Triangle. So we'd like to go back there early and hopefully expand these anomalies at surface. They're both, well, the southern one is open to the east, and the northern one's open to the west still. So room to grow for these upper anomalies. And then also, hopefully, as we expand our understanding here and do some more mapping, and hopefully some drilling, we'd be able to test this large anomaly that's kind of showing itself at depth here. So this is it's about 400 meters down, what we're calling the deep anomaly here. And it's a little early to start arm waving about exactly what it is, but the fact it connects up to these upper anomalies, it gives potential for it being possibly the heat source or something that's driving the system up top.
You certainly have the high grade samples, right? Even that upper anomaly is probably maybe 100 meters deep, so you might be able to hit that off first and see what you see.
Exactly, that's the way I picture it. We've got plenty to work with up top with these good anomalies and good geochemistry, and it kind of fits the hydrothermal model a bit as well. We've got these quite high grade showings up high, and let's start there, and maybe there's something driving it lower down that we can explore as we further advance the target. And just that photo off to the right there, that's the quartz carbonate vein. You can kind of see it's a bit of a blown out image, but it's definitely got width, and you can see all the gossan related to the vein itself. So it's not just an isolated structure. It's definitely something that we could target with a drill moving forward. So yeah, that's the update on the Heather target. And now one other great thing that came out of this work that was done this past summer was the Kashmir showing. And so this is brand new. Maybe I'll just flip back to the map if it's not too distracting, but down here on the west. And so this is up a valley that no one's ever done any work before. Nothing historical. This was literally just us flying around in the helicopter and getting closed out.
Gossans.
Exactly, getting closed out of certain areas because of the weather, and then we go, well, let's try and go check out that gossan over there. That looks slightly different than the other stuff around. So it was pretty nice to the geologist I was working with. I told him I'd get him the first beer out of camp if he found me some nice copper, and he yelled back at me, "How about some Molly?" And that was, that put the smile on my face, and sure enough, quite a decent system that we've already just uncovered with a couple days work here. It's 500 meters at least, or sorry, 50 meters at least. The showing is at surface, but it plunges into talus slope, and then it's quite cliffy above. So more work needs to be done here, and it's still very open in multiple directions. But from the initial sampling that we did do, we got grades up to 0.86% moly. So this is quite high. You can do economic moly, at almost a quarter of that. So
okay. And what's moly selling for these days?
Yeah, like just glancing at it in the last 2-3 months, the price of moly is almost doubled. So we're up to $40 a pound. So
it's 10 times more expensive than copper, right? So if this was a copper grade, it would be like 8%. Then you're averaging 1.8% copper equivalent kind of thing.
Perfect. Yeah. That's a great analogy to bring it home, because it's not a metal that people pay necessarily as much attention to, but I know it's getting a bit of attention right now, and rightly so. I know there's been money. Eric Sprott just put some money into Stu Heaney as well, who's got a nice moly resource. So it's catching people's attention for sure. And yeah, what we've seen here is exactly what you'd love to see in this part of the world. You take 18 rock samples and you end up with pretty consistent moly across all of them. Even when we were taking rock samples of the stuff that wasn't just the high graded veins, you're still getting good moly grades. And so there's also some copper in there. It's not as significant at this stage, but from what we've seen so far, I think there's still room to grow, and you could get some zonation in these things that you might be getting into other rich copper zones, or gold zones for that matter. There was one rock sample taken just as we were making our way to the showing itself on day 2, about literally 50 meters away from the showing, just in the talus. I picked up a rock, and it had some galena in it, so I threw it in my bag, but it came back 51 grams per ton gold. So this is in a pretty small catchment area. Like it was a piece of float, so it's not in place, but that it's coming from somewhere pretty close by. And when you put that right beside a nice moly showing, it kind of just adds to the potential of the area and the system itself. Maybe you're getting high grade gold veins coming off this intrusion or some scenario like that. So
and this is looking like a porphyry kind of style mineralization. So usually those are pretty big too, right? You don't go baby for porphyries.
Exactly. Yeah, they're not tiny systems. You're not just chasing a single vein. You're looking at 500 meter bulk tonnage type scenarios, and when they're full of moly, copper, and gold, you're sitting in a good place. So definitely, there'll be more work done here for sure. And something that we liked as well, when we were about 2 kilometers down valley here, we also we were prospecting in a creek one day, and we found a lot more of these same boulders. You could identify the same rock type, and they also had moly and slightly better copper numbers. So it, you know, the amount of boulders that we found in that creek was also suggestive that, you know, we doubted it came just from this one showing. So the thought right now is that there's probably more of these intrusions. Maybe they're hiding in vegetative cover down in the valley bottom, or just have yet to be found by us. But overall, it speaks to the size potential of, you know, this new porphyry intrusion that we found, and in an area that's literally never been worked before. So definitely excited to keep expanding on what the Kashmir target will be, and hopefully, you know, flesh it out into something that we can drill in the future. And yeah, I think that kind of covers the news release and the surface work that we completed this past summer. I think from, you know, just to keep people paying attention, you know, keep them.
For sure. I mean, the news that came this week, you know, just went through the targets. They look really exciting, giant potentials, early stages, but they are really exciting. You got the nice samples coming out of the ground with more than 3,000 grams silver in one, and you got you know, 0.8 moly in another sample. That's some really economic stuff if you guys can prove it out and get it up to scale.
Yeah, absolutely. That's, you know, that's where you start, and that's what we're doing. We're, you know, like I said, spent the last 2 years doing the surface work that has led us to a point where we're in a great shape to do some drilling in the next year. And I should mention also Newfoundland. You know, we've just been focused on the stuff out in BC here, but Newfoundland is looking like we'll be out there actually first, hopefully as soon as in April here, to do some groundwork and firm up the drill targets that we've already got in place, and hopefully be drilling there by early summer. So also, you know, look back at the last video if you want to cover some of that stuff, because equally as exciting in terms of new untested drill targets out
So
in Newfoundland
a bunch
as well.
of drill targets in Newfoundland, and last time we went through Zappa and Discovery in the Golden Triangle, and today we've gone through Heather and Kashmir. So it's a full, a very busy season ahead, starting with Newfoundland because you don't have snow in there, so you can get there a lot earlier. Then once
Yeah,
the snow starts clearing up in BC, then you can focus your attention there.
yeah, exactly. It'll be a busy summer for me, and I'm looking forward to it.
It's great. Well, thank you, Carl, very much for your time. If anybody has some questions, just shoot an email. It's info@etruscusresources.com, or call the phone number that you see. And I'm sure the company will be happy, either Carl or Fiore, be very happy to speak and sit down with you if you had any questions.
Absolutely, yeah. Don't hesitate to reach out, and yeah, good luck out there, everyone. Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks again, Andrew.
Thanks, Carl. Have a good one.
Cheers.